right now, Mayor Maddox.
Hey, Kimberly, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Everybody's a little anxious this morning.
Absolutely. We'll get right down to the brass tacks. What in the heck's going on? I know you guys are on top of it.
Well, I'd like to believe that we are, but like most people, we'll just have to wait and see all day, considering this is not necessarily a linear storm. It's going to be more cellular in the sense that we're going to have pop-up showers. It appears over a 12 to 15-hour period. So it's really going to require everyone just to be aware of what's going on, because these storms, it appears from what we're seeing from State EMA and obviously other weather sources everyone has access to, that it's just going to be a pop-up event over the course of a half a day. And that makes it a little bit more difficult, but I think we're in Tuscaloosa, we certainly understand this and we're prepared for it. In the meantime, city staff is going to be ready to go. Yesterday, we authorized departments to begin making preparations. By noon today, we'll put in place our final operation plan and go from there.
Well, I know you're like us in that, not that we're comparing this to April 27th, but like James Spann said, if it happens on your street, it's your April 27th. But in terms of learning from a worst case scenario, I know that there's things that, it definitely was an education. How would you take what you learned, you and everyone involved, at City Hall after April 27th? What would you share from that to caution people ahead of this storm?
Well, I think there's a few lessons learned, both from wins and losses. First is, if you have a safe place, it is likely going to save your life. When you think about 5,300 structures that were impacted on the day of April 27th, we had a total of 53 fatalities, which, quite frankly, of course, if you're one of the families, that's horrendous. But statistically speaking, out of 5,300 structures, that means most likely you're going to be safe. And that was a rare event tornado. So find your safe place. Make sure that you have blankets, something to protect your head. Find that safe place. That's the first lesson learned, and take it seriously. You never know, especially on a day like today, where we'll get a pop-up tornado. And like you said, it doesn't have to be an EF4 with 193 mile per hour sustained winds that never leaves the ground to be your April 27th. If a tornado hops, skips, and jumps through your neighborhood, a tree falls on your house, you just experienced April 27th. So make sure that you find that safe place and be ready. From the city standpoint, it's just making sure we have as many assets available during the event and then sustainability after the event. Because if we do have something that takes place today, it means we're probably going to be in an operational window of 24 to 72 hours. So making sure that we have the resources to be able to sustain that is something that we're looking at, probably something we didn't do as well after April 27th, certainly something that will be in our calculus today.
Well, and I know social media really arrived on the scene for us in terms of being able to get information from people out and about in the field and seeing it firsthand, and it's very fluid. So, I'm trying to encourage everybody that at the end of the day, a lot of people relied solely on information they were only able to get from Twitter and Facebook. So it's important to get all that in place ahead of the storm as opposed to, after the fact. So Mayor Maddox, I know y'all are on top of it, as evidenced by the phone call today, and it certainly makes us feel better, I know.
Well, we've got an amazing team here at the city. I'm just a reflection of 1,358 outstanding employees. But you said something I'd like to close on, is that most people have a smartphone of some type that has apps, Twitter, access to multiple types of social media. Even when power goes out, you generally have battery life to that phone. Make sure you're tapped in to multiple sources so you can get multiple access points to information. Certainly the city is going to be alive during this entire window. So for the latest information on road closures, activities, shelters, be tuned in to the city's social media sites. I would imagine after the noon hour, we're going to begin a series of releases on what may be moving forward in terms of shelters or other plans that we have in place. So about afternoon is when you'll begin really seeing a concentrated rollout of information from the city. And we appreciate you giving us an opportunity to come on your show this morning.
Hey, absolutely. And just kudos to you. Kind of reached out at the last minute and y'all made it happen. And if something develops today, all you got to do is give us a call, and we want to get as much information out there as we can. So you're always welcome on our airwaves, and we appreciate you, Mayor Maddox.
Well, I appreciate you more than you know. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too.